Okay. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip board meeting. Today is January 28, 2019. We'll call this meeting to order at 7:30. Can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Trustee McGreal is absent at this time. Trustee Dalzell?
Present.
Trustee Zielinski?
Here.
Trustee Juarez? Here. Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight on this wonderful evening. I hope everybody's homes are warm enough, and certainly, should you need any help from the village, please give us a call. A couple of quick notes before we do our reports. Certainly today I want to thank Public Works. You guys did a great job today clearing our streets. Nice job, Mike. Mike's men were out since 4:30 this morning. They got to go home and have some soup a little while ago, and they're going to hit the street again pretty soon too, right? Okay.
Mike, if really quick, if Mike can tell us what streets we do not clear.
Not clear IDOT or county routes. So Cicero Avenue, 127th Street, 115th Street, 123rd. Those streets we do not.
Sorry. Pulaski, Cicero, 115th, 127th, 123rd Street. Those streets are all maintained either by IDOT or Cook County.
So for the public watching, we do not cover those streets.
Correct.
Thank you.
Fire department, so everyone knows as well too, Chief sent me a note earlier today. Tomorrow, Chief, you're going to man one extra guy at the shift?
Right. They have 9 staff for tomorrow, so we're going to put one more on. So we're going to have 10 staffing at 10 from tomorrow night at 7 till at least through Thursday morning, maybe even the first half of Thursday, depending on what the temperature actually is going to be on Thursday.
All right. And obviously with the severe weather, we felt it necessary to man all 3 ambulances, and it's hard to depend on mutual aid. So we're worried about ourselves. We're going to take care of the community as we should.
Correct.
Thank you very much, Chief. Police Department, obviously I spoke with the Chief earlier, and certainly we're available for, Chief, as we said, qualified well-being checks. If folks need us to check on anybody, we can certainly do so. Also, I spoke to the Chief, and we have advertised on social media and whatnot, but we'll do it again for folks that are seeing our YouTubes, because we tape all these meetings. Worth Township does sponsor a warming center that's available Monday through Thursday, 8:30 till 4:30, and on Friday they're open from 8:30 till 3, and that's designated by Cook County's Homeland Security's office that initiates that program. Certainly in the case of an emergency, we can open our village hall, and we're here all day too, folks, so if anybody wants to come and use our village hall during the day, you're more than welcome. We're here from like 8 in the morning till 5 at night all the time, and we'll stay open later if necessary, and we'll make the sacrifice, because certainly we're concerned with our community. Water, Danny, I know you guys are assisting Public Works in any capacity of plowing and whatnot, so we thank you for your help on that then too. And that's all I had to report on that for right now. But otherwise, everybody's doing a great job under the circumstances. Very quickly tonight, folks, we're going to be doing a promotion here for firefighter Freitag. But before we do so, I want to introduce our new Cook County Commissioner. Donna Miller was elected and took her office last month as our new 6th District Cook County Commissioner. Donna oversees almost 31 suburbs, I believe, Donna, right? 36 suburbs, sorry. Isn't that enough work to do? Donna, if you would, can you just take a couple of minutes and just introduce yourself? There's a microphone right there, if you can introduce yourself to the audience.
Good evening to the City of Alsip. Thank you, Mayor Ryan, for the invitation to have me come out tonight. We were kind of joking that I was here during the bicentennial when it was 1,000 degrees that day, and now today it's 1,000 negative degrees. So. But I'm happy to be here as the Cook County Commissioner of the 6th District. I want to thank all of our first responders for all of the great work that you're doing, especially during these times of cold and just need, and I hope that there's no major fires out there today, but thank you for your work. And yes, so the 6th District does represent 36 different municipalities out throughout the south suburbs and the southwestern suburbs. And just to let you know some of the things that I've already been working on that kind of falls right in with our first responders. I already passed my first resolution to train all county employees on CPR and AED training, because Cook County happens to have the highest deaths due to heart disease. So, and in these times when people are shoveling and people are out there, we need to have people who are bystanders, not just our first responders, be able to know CPR. So that's something that I just introduced and got passed, and so we're happy to say that by the end of a certain period of time, county employees will be trained on CPR. So other things that we'll be doing out in the district, talking about we're having a meeting that the mayor will be invited to, if you haven't gotten that already, bringing out the highway commission, the highway department from Cook County to talk about our roads that are county roads, and also economic development that applies to the 6th district. So those are the things that we'll be focused on. We're also going to have a forum that we'd love for everyone from the public to attend. When we do have these things, we need you to come out and voice your opinion and share your thoughts and concerns about our property tax assessment formula that we hope will be revamped, and we're going to be working with our new our new assessor on those things, and he's made a strong commitment to the Southland as far as that goes. So I'm honored to be here. My office, we're going to have a district office. It's going to be in Oak Forest. We'll have a grand opening. Everybody's invited. So look forward to seeing you then. So thank you.
That's wrong. Thank you very much, Donna, for being here tonight. Thanks much. I know you got a lot of hard work in front of you, and I know you just took your office, so I'm sure it's going to be a great experience. David, thank you for being here, too. David Miller's here tonight. Donna's husband, David, was a state representative for the state of Illinois here as well, too. Thanks, David. All right, next on the agenda, number 2, is trustees, I need a motion to approve the promotion of firefighter paramedic Chad Freitag to the rank of lieutenant, as this candidate is listed on the July 27, 2018 eligibility list posted in the Village Hall. This assignment is consistent with the total number of only 6 active fire lieutenants, i.e., in other words, Lieutenant Kraus is going to be off for the next 6 months due to an on-the-job injury, and Lieutenant Grutzius will be retiring in late May 2019. The fire chief recommended, and our finance department confirmed, it was in our best interest to promote somebody at this time rather than waiting until then. So
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
thank you.
Second.
Roll call number 1 to approve the promotion of firefighter paramedic Chad Freitag to the rank of lieutenant, as this candidate is listed on the 7/27/2018 eligibility list posted in the Alsip Village Hall. Roll call number 1. Trustee McGreal is absent. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zielinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Before I bring up the Police and Fire Commissioner, I did just want to mention small background on firefighter Freitag. The chief told me he has been a 12-year member of the Alsip Fire Department, and he's also a member of the CART team, which is the
Combined Agency Response Team.
Thank you, Chief. Combined Agency Response Team. Thank you very much. And thank you for your service to that, too, Chad. So if you would, please, if you come up now with our Police and Fire Commission. We've got the Police and Fire Commissioners I heard tonight, and I'm going to ask that they administer the oath of office to Lieutenant Freitag. We've got Terry Vershik, Kevin O'Connell, and Greg LeComp here with us this evening. So, thank you, sir. Oh, yeah, let me put this up so we can hear you.
Before we swear Chad in, I'd like to recognize Lieutenant Grutzius. Is here? Where's Tim? Congratulations on your retirement. Be healthy, be safe. Swearing in someone like Chad really makes me proud. I was able to swear in Chris Miller and Reka Bedoni, and now I get to swear in Chad. These guys are like my kids. So it gives me great pleasure. I worked with Chad, and I was also on CART. These are the guys who do the high rescue rescues, the confined space rescues, and it's a regional team comprised of a lot of departments. And you guys have, what, 5 members, 6 members?
4 from Alsip now.
4. So that way it makes it affordable to have all this equipment and manpower. And I certainly want to thank all of you. This is great showing. All of you, I think I've said this before. There's two of the worst jobs, dangerous jobs at this time now. And Chief, your guys, we had officers attacked today. I remember if it was Texas or where. So my wholehearted thanks to the police department. And in this type of weather, this is the weather I hated the most. You'd think with the house fires you stay warm, but the hoses will freeze up fairly fast, and your fingers get cold, and your face gets icicles. So you guys that are still working, I salute all of you. And now we'll get on. Or let me introduce, this is Kevin O'Connell, the mayor introduced him, he's our secretary, and Greg LeCamp, who's our third member. Are you ready?
I am ready.
I, Chad Freitag,
I, Chad Freitag,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the municipal ordinances
and the municipal ordinances
of the Village of Alsip,
of the Village of Alsip,
and that I will faithfully
discharge the duties
of the office of lieutenant according to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We're going to have his wife Jackie come up and pin his badge on him. And also, yeah, we'll get his helmet shield tonight also.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we've got a couple days before he comes back. That's all right.
I'm sorry, can we take 5 minutes, trustees, just for a couple quick pictures and we'll move on to the meeting.
How are you doing?
How you doing? Is that Tribbiani and
Yeah.
Friends?
Quick a mug shot, Jim.
You want to bring your family?
Come on, buddy.
Bob, you want to get in the picture?
Go on.
What it's all about.
You don't throw Artie up anymore?
No, I don't.
Look at the bald guy.
Artie. Art.
Shiny spot.
Art.
I don't toss you up anymore.
Do the same thing for Mom.
Awesome. Thank you.
Real smooth, Kent. We'll just hit a drum cymbal.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Nice job.
All right, where do these get signed at? They don't because there's no money. Okay. Thank you.
Here, I'm going to go take a few pictures out with them real quick and I'll come right back in.
Congratulations.
Raymond. We'll grab everybody outside.
Thank you guys for being here.
Have a good night. Stay warm.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we'll, oh, here we go. Turn those back on. Okay, so we'll continue with the meeting. Next on my agenda, let's see, number 4, I had the approval to, I'm sorry, the approval of the revised board of committee, approval of the revised board and committee meeting schedule reflecting the Village of Alsip board. I'm asking to acknowledge both Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, and Veterans Day, where the village board will no longer schedule meetings in observance of respect for those federal holidays. The clerk had also asked if we want to consider Columbus Day, but and we can certainly amend my request if you want to include Columbus Day. But in other words, I want to schedule around those. I don't want to schedule on those moving forward in years to come, and so forth, even this year. So I've got that on the consent agenda. Anybody want to include Columbus Day in that too? Or you want to leave it just at the 3?
No objection to it.
The only comment, question, whatever you want, category you want to put it in, I have no issues when it's a board meeting night that we move it to the next day because, that's the night that the bills get approved and don't want to delay those. But on May 28th and November 12th, those are committee meeting nights. And I don't know if we really need to be holding the committee meeting on a Tuesday.
That's fine. And a lot of times, too, we can...
Yeah, just the committee meeting nights, I think it's okay to just go ahead and cancel those, but the board meetings I would move to the Tuesday.
Yeah, understood. And we can, obviously, at the time, even if we have nothing to discuss, we can elect to cancel the meeting if we wish. But like you said, if it's a committee meeting, no point in having a committee meeting. But if it's a board meeting, we'll move to the following Tuesday, the Tuesday after the Monday, the day after.
Yeah, so what that would do is it would pull off May 28th and November 12th as meeting nights. That's all.
My only comment would be, for the past number of years, we've always held the committee meeting the Tuesday after Memorial Day in May. So that's been as long as I've known. I don't know if you want to, you're saying to eliminate that one altogether?
Mm-hmm.
We're doing 2 committee meetings a month now, which is certainly sufficient, but if the board elects to cancel it, we didn't have anything to discuss, we can elect to cancel it at that time.
At the board meetings, we can always have discussion with any of the things that are relevant to the time. The only thing we can't do at a board meeting is if it's not on the agenda, can we move to for a vote? So, most of our discussion at committee meetings don't involve the votes, just discussion of the materials.
Right. Okay. Anyway, I've got that on the consent agenda this evening then, too, for approval. So we'll leave it as it stands for right now. Clerk's report?
Thank you, Mayor Ryan. Approval of the December 2018 monthly FOIA report. There was a total of 16. Approval of the December 2018 IDOT motor fuel tax allotment in the amount of $41,868.99. And lastly, the approval of the January 7th, 2019 Board of Trustee board meeting minutes. That is all, Mayor Ryan.
Thank you. Attorney's report, we have Joe Kankar with us tonight.
I have no report, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The engineer's report, he was excused this evening as well. He didn't have a report. Public forum, anyone in the audience wish to address the board this evening? No one? All right, thank you. And then we'll move on to the standing committee reports. Finance Committee, Trustee McGlawhorn.
First, I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated January 18th, 2019, totaling $404,008.61. Next, I have a request for approval of accounts payable dated January 28th, 2019. In the recap, General Fund, $893,103.53. Road and Bridge, $11,161.02. MFT, $1,087.08. Arbor Deer Park, this is the closing or the rebate from TIF 1, $99,013.52. Pulaski Road Corridor TIF, $22,228.59. Water and Sewer, $835,203.55. Heritage, $63,759.72. For a grand total all funds of $1,925,557.01. And that's all I have under finance.
All right, thank you. The Fire Committee report, Trustee McGlohan?
First is discussion. The chief has made a recommendation that we replace the 20-year-old rear doors at both fire stations.
Correct. It's been on the budget for the last 2 years. It was pulled. Most overhead doors usually have a lifespan of about 10 years. 3 out of the 6 between both stations are used constantly because when they return from a call, we have them coming through the back doors instead of using the front. Less chance of them getting hit on Pulaski, as well as the ladder truck at Station 2. So on an average of the doors, they probably open anywhere from 6 to 12 times a day, depending on calls and everything else that goes on. So over a 10-year lifespan, you're looking at 43,000 times that doors operated. We're approaching 20 years, so we're at 80,000 times the doors have opened and closed. We replaced the front doors 3 or 4 years ago, I believe, mainly for the same reason. The other issues that we have is the motors that are on the doors right now. Those are the original motors, and the parts are becoming more difficult to find. Public Works replaced their doors a couple years ago. They replaced the type of tracking system and motors. We're going to end up doing the same thing. If we wait for one to go out, I don't know how long it's going to take to get it back up. And like I said, we use the overhead doors constantly. Even the front ones, the motor's going to have to be replaced. So it's something we're going to have to look at. We're in the process of getting 3 quotes right now for the overhead doors, and we're going to get a separate one for replacing the motors also.
Right, ballpark, any idea how much that's going to run?
Last time when we got a quote on the 3 overhead doors just to replace the total 6 doors, 3 at each station, was roughly $27,000.
So based on that, are quotes enough, or do we really need to go out to bid?
It's over $20,000 for the whole project. So I mean, we're going to put it in for this year's budget, but it's something we really need to consider for this year. We're going to have to do the repairs that I sent the price quote on for the repairs. Those are going to have to get done. We can't wait, but we will put in for whatever the quotes come back for this year's budget also. And then I'll have a separate one for the door motors.
Yeah. But no, I'm thinking that we need to actually go out to bid as opposed to just getting quotes.
Well, we'll have to go out to bid, but I want to get an amount so I know what to put in for this year's budget. That's all.
Okay.
What repairs need to be done on the doors?
I sent out a quote from Door Systems when they came out and do the annual inspections on what needs to be done on some of the overhead doors and the rear overhead doors. Right now, it's about $3,200 right around there for repairs to keep them where they need to be within the standards.
So, what's wrong with the doors themselves that they need to be replaced?
They're tired, they're worn out, they're not designed to go up and down that many times over a 20-year lifespan. You look at the panels where, they're starting to fold in. They got a lot of wear and tear on there. The cables need to be replaced, the tracks, the whole system. When they come out and replace the doors, they replace the whole system. So it's more of a safety concern. We've had some of the doors come down. We've had cables that frayed. On the underside is a sensor that's supposed to go up if it hits something. We're constantly replacing them all the time. Their doors are just tired. They're just worn out. You can't keep them forever. We're 10 years past what the recommended replacement time is. If we were only running 1 or 2 calls a day, well, maybe. Last year we did over 3,600 calls. Our call volume keeps going up every year. That means the doors are used more and more every year. So we'll get the quotes.
Right. Tonight was just discussions. We were combining our board meeting here. So thank you, Chief. Go ahead, Trustee.
Okay, next I have a request for approval of the December 2018 monthly activity report. And then after that, I have a request for approval for the calendar 2018 annual report. And just to reiterate some Chief just mentioned, I'll read some of the numbers for last year. Total structure fires, we had 23. Vehicle fires, we had 23. Other fires, what would fall under other fires? The
Dumpsters,
fires.
rubbish, grass fires, anything in between.
Okay, so that category. We also had 23 for a total of 69 fire calls. I just found that interesting, all three of them coming in at 23. Rescue calls. Emergency medical treatment, we had 2,401 calls. All other calls, we had 14 rescue calls. Hazardous condition calls, 110. Service calls, 329. Good intent calls, 238. Special incident calls, 20. False alarm, malicious calls, we had 4. All other false calls, 460. So total all calls, 3,645. And the estimated total loss due to fire, $1,214,350. You guys were busy.
We're about 325 calls ahead from 2017, so a huge increase.
Wow. All right. Next, I have a request for approval to replace 3 patient care report computers for the ambulances, totaling $8,100. 1 Sensit gas meter calibration station, totaling $5,075, and 2 replacement weight station equipment, 1 for each station, totaling $5,500 for a total of $18,675. These items were approved for purchase by the Foreign Fire Tax Insurance Fund. And that vote was finalized on January 22nd, 2019. And then discussion, I have a request for approval to terminate the Keltron monitoring agreement with Crosspoint Sales by providing a 30-day notice as provided for in Section 4 of the general provisions. I'm not sure if everybody knows what's behind this.
Well, I can speak to it, Chief, unless you wish. Okay. So bottom line is, we identified, which I mentioned to the board a couple weeks ago, the idea that we want to make sure that the language in here is actually accurate, because what happened was, while we selected Crosspoints to be our service provider for our Caltron program, at the same time, it was brought to our attention that they're soliciting our customers, or I want to use the word customer, our subscribers, with costs that are almost 40% less than ours. And not that, I don't want to challenge any antitrust agreements or anything like that. That's not our purpose here. We want to go back through the language, because we want to be more specific to say that if you do initiate a service with a company like Crosspoints, which is a good company, we're not saying anything wrong, bad about them, but you're also not going to be on our service, our direct connect anymore then too. I think it can be misleading to say whose service you're on, because if they're going to provide service to you, they're not going to use our service. Ours was a direct connect with our box that went to our dispatch. Theirs won't be. And I think that's, Chief, is out. Am I saying that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we want to make sure that anyone that's going to renew and sign a 7-year contract with the village for services, they understand it's with the village, not with the provider. So it's really just a matter of language at this time, but in our original contract, there is a provision that either us or them we're allowed to give each other a 30-day notice should we decide to terminate our agreement, and we're going to exercise our right to do so. And we're going to clean up the language on this. We'll bring it back to the board at our next meeting. Attorney Mike Hankar is working on this. He wasn't available this evening, but he'll work on this week, and we'll get it back to the board next week and so forth then. And we'll bring it back for, we've got 30 days to do this, but we don't want to be without service at the same time for too long, so we're going to get this done right away then too. We'll probably end up going I don't know, Chief, are we going to have to go back out to bid on this then, too?
That's up to the board to decide if we need to go out to bid
Get
again.
another qualified bidder. Were these people the same people who were doing our alarm billing?
Yes.
They were, correct.
Isn't that a huge ethics aspect of it, that they take a client list and then they go ahead and they solicit the client list while working for us?
It is, trustee, but that's kind of what I was suggesting was, when it comes to antitrust cases, you want to be very careful just to say that maybe somebody didn't spot something in between, because unfortunately, in the private sector, you wouldn't be privy to that information, but in the public sector, we've had other alarm companies actually FOIA our subscriber list, so there's many people asking who our subscribers are and approaching those people right
That's
now.
all well and
Yeah.
good, but did they do that?
They didn't have to. They already had the list. Yeah.
And that's my point, though.
point,
Had
right.
they gone ahead
Yeah.
and taken that step to do a FOIA, then no harm, no foul. But what they did is under the guise of being one of our
Being our
Contractors.
contractor, yeah, exactly, sat there and used our client list to solicit for their own purposes. It's a huge ethical breach.
There's also misleading in the language of the letter that they sent out to the businesses, pretty much, saying that, they've taken care of the system for all these years, which is correct. But what they didn't say is it's the village's system. They were just maintaining it as the contractors, and going to them, they will not be direct connect anymore. So there's some misleading language in the letter that they sent out.
I've got a small handful of problems that the chief and I and the police department, Jay and his guys have been real good, and the building department as well, have been very good about addressing lately. And I'll tell you, while we did this, long story short is when they initiated the Keltron program back in 2007, I think it was a great idea to actually not only have a direct connect to our dispatch, to obviously, hopefully, get less false calls, because it is a direct connect. It's not going through a third-party provider and whatnot, but it was a perpetual contract. Once you got on, you had to stay on. The problem is that you couldn't get off, if you wanted to. Otherwise, we'd have to shut your business down. In the interest of keeping businesses open, in some cases, we had to, basically float these people, because otherwise we're shutting down businesses. And, we, at some point, our business nature always tries to give everyone the benefit of the doubt they're going to catch up. Unfortunately, we saw that, maybe 10% of the people didn't want to do that, which is why we came to all this conclusion now to terminate this perpetual agreement and allow and not to monopolize a product. We did everything in the best interest of looking out for our business community and our village at the same time, especially the taxpayers who we don't want them carrying these businesses. But unfortunately, we've had a couple of landlords demonstrate just recently. They were actually going to attempt, and I've been on the phone with these people late at night too, like at 6:30, at 7 o'clock at night, because they wanted to disconnect our alarm service, put in a new one, and they're in arrears. They owe us money. So I'm tackling things. I'm playing collector, and it's really not my job to do, but I certainly will be in the interest of the taxpayer. That's what I'm doing right now. And we had the police and fire and building department at one location about 2 weeks ago, and here we had a contractor on site trying to disconnect our equipment, trying to connect theirs, and didn't have a permit to do it, to do any electrical work, nor did the, we're working on our ordinance right now to be more specific, to say that, because this board did a nice job of outlining what we expect in the equipment, to be a remote system, be UL approved on it. You got to have us approve it before you throw it up and stuff. But you throw it up, and if it's wrong for any reason, we're not going to be responsible for having you tear all that down or going through all the headache of doing this. So we're trying to do everything in the best interest of all. And it's become it's been a little tiring. We've got better things to do with our time, but it's the same. We're always going to protect the taxpayer and our interests as well too. So this has become a small headache. Tom, the chief did point that out way back when, and my office and all the offices, we're doing our best to control the situation right now. So we feel this action right now, again, is in the best interest of reviewing and, possibly having a different outcome at the end of it then, too. So it's just a temporary situation, but we feel the need to review at this point.
Okay. That's all I have under fire, Mayor.
Thank you, trustee. The police committee report, committee?
No report unless Chief Miller has any updates on anything.
Just real quick, I just want to acknowledge Lieutenant Gakowski and Lieutenant Mikas on their graduation from Northwestern University Center of Public Safety School of Police Staff and Command. It's a very prestigious command school. They graduated January 18th, Friday, January 18th. And also congratulations to Officer Janet Howell and Officer Bill Delaney, who graduated from the Chicago Police Department Metro Police Academy last Friday, January 25th. That's all.
Jay, when do they come on shift to start field training?
They started Saturday morning. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Good. Thank you. Now, I congratulate both lieutenants this morning. Great job with Staff and Command School. Two good guys, too. Very good lieutenants. Public Works and Boat Launch, Trustee Juarez.
I have an approval of the December 2018 monthly activity report, and I also have an approval to go out to bid for parkway tree pruning, approximately 731 trees. That's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Building Committee, Trustee Zelinski.
I have approval of the December 2018 monthly activity report. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
All right, thank you. The Sewer and Water Report, Trustee Dalzell.
The approval to begin the IEPA loan application process. And Dan, do you want to speak to some of those things that you'd already passed out the information?
Grab a mic, please, Dan.
Yeah, I just want to let the board know what we're looking to do is I highlighted the areas of town that we're looking to do in the Kamensky through Keeler area over by 119th to 120th Street. Essentially what we're looking to do is put a package together approximately asking for a $2 million loan. This loan program from the IEPA, currently this year, they're allowing, if the town is eligible, up to 75% of the loan being forgiven, principal forgiveness. So we could essentially get a $1.5 million grant if we're eligible. And we were eligible the last time we, got a loan from them. We did get a $500,000 grant. So we're looking to, get the best, bang for the buck and put that program together about $2 million.
Dan and I have met on this a few times, and we've done a great job. We're in good standing with the IEPA. All of our loan monies have been made on time and so forth. Thank you to our finance department, and certainly with that 75% forgiveness on behalf of the premium, we really should take advantage of this. This is a great opportunity. So, and Danny's obviously identifying a troublesome area that we need to replace the water main.
Yeah, these, one, they're all in the roadway, so I hate to do it, but sometimes we have to tear up, Mike's streets, and he's not happy about it when we do that. So these are areas that they cost the most to do those repairs. So we're trying to eliminate those areas that cost us the most in repairs.
I'm keeping an eye on your back while he's...
So again, the area you're talking about, Dan, this is 119th and Kamensky. So this is right behind First Midwest Bank and so
Correct.
forth.
Correct. All the way west to the baseball fields.
Okay.
That's by my house.
Down 119th Street.
That, including 119th Place, west to Costner Avenue. We actually have a different issue there where we're trying to identify is essentially we end up with a small dead end just short of Costner Avenue, and we'd like to make that connection. There's actually a tap sitting there waiting to make that connection. It's about 250 feet of main that will actually be adding to make that loop.
Okay, so again, this evening we're asking for approval to begin the loan process for this, Dan, right?
Correct. Just trying to get the paperwork started. We have to, the deadline is January 31st to get our name on the list.
Okay.
So.
Yes, Kent. Go ahead.
Dan and I and my accountant have been working also on cleaning up some really old stuff on his books. We're looking at it, but it'll probably take board action to clean it up at the next board meeting. We're not ready for that now, but that'll also help his process for the IEPA loan, just some stuff that shouldn't be in there.
So what we talked about with the audit?
Yeah, there's some stuff that's been lingering out there for a few years, going back, tracing what it is, and we realize it probably never should have been on our books, so I'm going to probably come to you guys with board action, not this meeting, but next meeting, but that also has to do with his IEPA loan and make his paperwork easier. Dan actually has to go through a lot of bureaucratic paperwork to do each and every IEPA loan, so he should be thanked each time he goes through this process because it is not an easy process.
Good job on this, Mr. Trotman. Thank you. Any questions, trustees?
No.
Okay.
That's
Thank
all I
you.
have, Mayor.
Thanks, Dan. Next, we had the License Committee, Trustee Juarez.
I have an approval of a list of licenses dated December 28, 2018 through January 11, 2019. And I also have an approval of list of licenses dated January 14th through January 25th, 2019. That's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you. The Economic Development Committee, Trustee Murphy.
I have approval of the December 2018 monthly activity report. That's all I have, sir.
All right. The Plan and Zoning Committee, Trustee Zelinski.
No report this evening.
All right, thank you. The Special Committee Reports, Village Properties, Trustee McLaughlin.
The only thing under Village Properties is I would say at both heritage complexes, the new boards recently took their offices and I commend the involvement of the social clubs at both complexes. They do a great job. That's all I have.
We're trying to get Heritage 1 organized like Heritage 2 is. Heritage 2 has been in place for a little bit, and Heritage 1, it just like anything else, it's just an adjustment. It's a little bit of a smaller community than Heritage 2 is, but
they're getting there.
They did nominate and vote some new officers to take position as president and treasurer only. You couldn't get a third person in there, so it really would have helped to get a third person, but they'll work it out. It's not like it's a homeowner association, but on their social committee ideals, they at least have a small board there to work with them, too.
Who's helping them put that together?
They have to do that themselves.
Yeah. That's really nothing that the village is supposed to be involved in. We're property owners there, and we really aren't. We're just there as a support, that kind of thing. And I did sit in on a meeting with them about 2 weeks ago, and they're doing all the right things. But again, it's not our place as the village to intervene in their social committees. That's up to them. And it's really not our business at all. So we'll support them in any capacity, but it's just not our position. Like I said, to intervene in our social committees. The Insurance Committee.
Would be Trustee Murphy or Trustee McLaughlin.
No report.
Okay. The Ordinance Legislation Committee, Trustee Murphy.
Discussion regarding an ordinance of the Village of Alsip amending Chapter 4, Alcoholic Beverages and Liquor Control of the Alsip Municipal Code to provide for a liquor license classification for certain nonprofit organizations and regulation pertaining thereto. I also have a request to amend a recent ordinance amending Chapter 9, Fire Prevention and Protection, Article 1 in general, Section 9-4, Fire Alarms Systems of the Municipal Code of the Village of Alsip. And that's all I have, sir.
Okay.
So is this second one strictly in relation to the Caltron contract, or
No,
there's no copy provided?
No, I sent it to Trustee Kankar, or I'm sorry, I'm doing the same thing now. Attorney Kankar, he's going to set it up for the next coming week.
Okay,
so he just got it today. Yeah.
That particular one, there's no attachment, there's no nothing, so I wasn't sure.
He just got it
what
today,
that was
so I'm
about.
sure he hasn't gotten that far with it.
Okay.
And that's what we were just talking about, was looking at the ordinance. Yes. The other, I know the language can be a little hard to understand, but I felt it necessary to just address this. Attorney Kanker, you want to speak to it? The liquor?
The liquor, yeah. Well, as the chief knows, there was one time where there was a big fight outside the Sprinklers Union in 2018, and it had to do with them. I guess during their union hall meetings, they have beer available for the members, and they have quite a large membership that attends those functions. And a fight occurred, and it actually got pretty dangerous. And so when we issued them citations, they were fined. ultimately they appealed that, and the court said, hey, listen, they're not quote unquote offering alcoholic beverages to the public. They're not supposed to be licensed, so they're not subject to the license requirements. I disagreed with that. It wasn't worth any appeal up higher than that, but this really changes the code to
include them.
ensure that they have to get licensed as well. It kind of makes a license available for them.
So what we're going to do is we're not charging them for like a liquor license. We're going to charge them a fee per year in order, if they wish to sell, or if not, they're not even selling, they're offering our alcoholic refreshments to their membership. And I was told also it's they don't do that often there, and I believe the electricians don't do it too often too. But if they do, if they wish to provide that for their membership, we've got a tool in place to accommodate them too. This way, everyone's covered, and everyone can be listed on their the insurances accordingly and so forth, and everything's good.
And in talking with their attorney, they actually are in agreement going this route as opposed to getting another, because the judge made clear that, hey, if this happens again and we write a ticket, he would uphold it just because now they have noticed that they're subject to it. So they're kind of in an agreement that this is where they would like to go if they're going to do that. So I don't know that they're going to continue to do it, but
Yeah, thus far they've complied with that.
yeah,
So.
right.
They have let other people use their facilities. Will that cover if someone uses their facilities for?
No, what I do with that, trustee, whenever they're having like a benefit of any type, they have to come in and apply for even just a temporary one-day license.
One-day license. Yeah.
And we're listed on their insurance as a secondary on the coverage and so forth then too. So we're aware of what's going on. I share that with the police department as well then too, so that all parties are covered in the event of a problem of any type where alcohol is on premise and so forth. Then.
They have to provide dram shop for that?
I'm sorry, Chief, what's the name of it again?
Dram shop insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only dram shop,
Only
and we put in here that somebody's got to be Bassett trained on.
Bassett, thank
the
you. That's
premise.
what I was stuck at, right. Okay.
And that's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you. The IT Committee, Trustee Dalzell?
No report, Mayor.
All right. Human Resources Committee?
No report.
Health and Pollution, Trustee Murphy?
Although there is no report, our health department, Linda Cavello, has been quite busy. She's acquired, this is for the record, certificates of completion in tick biology and control, mosquito biology and control, toxology and pesticides of environmental for health professionals, basics for environmental health professionals, rodent management and performance assessment, and vehicular control services. So Linda's been getting quite the schooling. So we have hats off to her for furthering her education on this, and she's doing a great job. So, and that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Trustee. Traffic Safety, Trustee Dalzell?
No report, Mayor.
You know what, Trustee, I'm sorry. Just this afternoon, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to CC on this. There was an email that came across on the traffic email service that we have for the Traffic Safety Committee. I don't know how it got on that, but it was a resident over on 119th and Ridgeway, and tripped on a cracked sidewalk or something like that. And Mike Frater, I just sent it to you. You might not see it. It was right at the end of the day today. And I gave a copy to the building commissioner as well. If you guys can take a look at it, there was an address identified. If you can just make sure that sidewalk is safe. And if necessary, put a cone out there or something until we can do something more with it, despite the weather and so forth then, too.
I've been in that area doing a lot of work for replacing gas services, so I know some sidewalk was removed in that area.
Okay.
I will confirm to make sure that it's
Okay.
safe.
I did it right around 5 o'clock today, so you'll see it when next time you go by your computer, okay? Trustees, any presentations, petitions, or communications? I had one. I came across this last year, and I wanted to keep everybody in the loop on it this season. Budgetary considerations always dictate that we seek competitive quotes. In this case, we're going to be renewing our workman comp insurance and liabilities and so forth come in May 1st. So I want to let everybody know that in order to comply with our 90-day notice to Illinois Public Risk Fund. Tomorrow, I'm going to send them a notification that we're going to seek quotes, and we look forward to their quote, prior to renewal, before May 1. So we look forward to their quote coming back.
Mayor, the only thing else I wanted to mention as far as communication is concerned is that we have been notified, it is up on the Facebook page and I believe the village website, that the refuse company will be closed on Wednesday, so trash pickup is bumped back a day. So
Right.
if you're a normal Friday pickup, you'll be picked up on Saturday.
Right. Thank you. Trustees, anyone wish to remove anything from the consent agenda this evening? None? All right, then can I get a motion to establish a consent agenda?
Motion?
Second.
Roll call number 2 to establish the consent agenda. Trustee McGrill is absent. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Motion carries to establish.
All right, thank you. Can we get a motion then to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, roll call number 3 is a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Just in recapping, item F as in Frank, approval of a list of payroll dated January 18th, 2019, totaling $404,008.61. Letter G as in George, approval of a list of accounts payable dated January 28th, 2019, totaling $1,925,557.01. Again, roll call number 3 to approve the consent agenda as presented. Trustee McGrill is absent. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve.
Thank you. Trustees, any unfinished business?
Mayor, I have something that probably should have been put under communications, that the Alsip Chamber of Commerce is holding their 16th annual Community Expo on March 9th. And they do have information on their website, which is info@alsipchamber.org. And they also have a 2019 program book for advertising space with a number of different avenues for advertising, full page, half page, quarter page. So I just wanted to put that out there on behalf of the chamber. That's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you. Any new business? I probably could have did something under communications as well, too, just to be fair to, I had a couple of employees ask as well this evening, would we consider closing our village hall on Wednesday due to the bad weather? I certainly want to be available to the public, but I also want to be consistent with what other communities are doing, too. Right before the meeting, I reached out to all the local mayors. Everybody's keeping the village home open on Wednesday, so yes, we are going to be open on Wednesday here. So that's all I had. And can I get I'm sorry, too. As far as closed session goes, I want to cancel both those meetings this evening. Attorney Mike Kankar had information we wanted to discuss on negotiating matters. We'll wait till next week for that. And then as far as property is concerned, I actually want to see a hard number to come back to. Really, we're going to evaluate property cost versus any kind of tax incentives. Once we have that hammered out a little bit better, we'll call for a meeting then. And we'll probably do that in the public as well then, too. So, can I get a motion then to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us this evening, folks. Enjoy your night, and please stay warm. You need our help, please give a call.
Meeting adjourned at 8:25 p.m.